Good morning, peoples. Hi, Jeff. I do see you.
There you are.
Here I are. Hi, Joey.
Good morning.
Good morning, Janie. All right. This is going to be a good one, folks. This is going to be a good one. Let me get my thing situated here. Hi, Mary Lou.
Hey there. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. And I'm sending you the cease and desist today. Now,
Oh, thanks.
just so everyone knows, Mary Lou's not getting a cease and desist. I am sending her a template of a cease and desist. It's not, that just sounded like I'm giving Mary Lou a cease and desist.
I have to send one to one of your former mastermind members. What a coincidence.
You want one too, Joe?
I have one. I have a lawyer on my team, so we already have one.
Oh, good.
Hey, you said you sent it to one of my former mastermind members?
It's going to, yeah.
Former?
Yes.
Are you sure they're former?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Positive.
Good question.
Yeah, really, because my heart started stopping.
Yeah.
Started stopping. That's a new one.
Yeah.
My heart well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Hard to do, start to stop.
You know, I hate my business is full of insanity, especially this time of year, Craig.
Yeah.
People are going nuts. I mean, besides the regular nuts, the IRS is freaking out of control. So
I paid the IRS last year. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. I paid the IRS last year, and they're sending me a bill. Excuse me.
bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. They're
I'm
sending
glad I'm in Ohio.
the
God bless you.
The IRS is sending me a bill for the amount of money I paid them last year.
You're the second one I heard that happened.
And Debbie Morgan's helping me out with it, but they
Plus
want
interest and penalties, right?
they want to lien on my house. And I'm like, here's the canceled check, but they're so backed up that
I
they
know.
haven't had a chance to look at the canceled check yet.
Thank God you have somebody like Debbie.
I know.
You know, I could tell you stories. I'm going to write a book about the last couple of years with the IRS.
Yeah. Get on their radar.
My aunt worked there for 20 years, right? She had to call her congressman. She just got her refund from last year.
Oh my.
Her congressman couldn't get through to the IRS.
Yeah, apparently there's long wait times. All right, so Jeff CRILLEY. Jeff CRILLEY's in the house. I got to start this now. If everyone can mute yourself, just mute yourself, and then if you have a question, pop back in. So Jeff, I just actually saw Jeff about an hour and a half ago or an hour ago at our Success North Dallas meeting, and both of us got these lovely things.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff got one. It's because we're really special.
You're special, all right.
You're special. I'm the special needs for sure. But it was a really great meeting. You guys Google this name, Nina Vaca, V-A-C-A. I'm going to type it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
She was amazing. And what this woman has done in her life is truly amazing. She owns a company called Pinnacle Group, and she was our speaker today. And just wow, I took so many notes and so many things that she said I kind of talk about, but the biggest thing she said was start local to go globally. And I talk about it all the time, doing seminars in your own town and being a rock star in your own town before you try to go globally. So she talked a lot about that today. Well, this guy, Jeff CRILLEY, first of all, let me just share this about Jeff. I've been here a year and 3 months. 99.9% of the people that I have met in Dallas know Jeff CRILLEY. It's like every time I meet someone, oh yeah, I'm doing a podcast with Jeff CRILLEY. Oh, I love Jeff. He's awesome. Like every time I talk to someone, they know Jeff CRILLEY. It is amazing. So today I met all these new people that are new, Jeff. And I'm like, oh, so you got to meet Jeff CRILLEY. Oh yeah, I know Jeff. I'm like, but you're new, and how do you know him already? It's like amazing. So Jeff and I are definitely, I mean, this is going to sound weird, but we're having like a bromance, definitely having a bromance going. We have lunches together, and we just, I don't know, there's just something about this guy. Him and I just clicked, and he's become one of my dearest friends out here in Dallas, and he's helping me grow. I'm going to be doing podcasts at his studio. We'll talk more about that. But Jeff owns Real News Public Relations, but he's an ex-TV guy. I'll let him explain. So I'll just let him tell you who he is. But please, everybody, welcome Mr. Jeff CRILLEY. Yay! People are clapping and
This
whistling.
is such an honor, and you guys know Craig better than I do. We've only known each other for a couple of months now, but Craig never meets a stranger. I've never seen Craig in a bad mood. I mean, he just comes in with joy. So he's absolutely right. Instant bromance. We met each other and liked each other within a nanosecond.
Yeah.
And when we're together in the same room, the fire alarms go off in the building. There's too much energy and charisma going on. So anyway, I'm honored to speak to the group and a little bit about me. I spent 25 years in front of a TV camera, Lansing, Michigan, Omaha, Nebraska, Minneapolis, Minnesota for 4 cold years, and then finally got to Dallas in the early 90s. And does anybody on the call remember when the Cowboys were good? That was it was before some of you were born, but I got to Dallas in 92, and I got spoiled because we went on the Super Bowl run, from 93 Super Bowl, 94 Super Bowl, 96 Super Bowl, winning all 3 out of 4 years. It's been a long time, a long time since then.
The Chiefs are going to win it this year. Woo!
You know what? Yeah, and I am a Chiefs fan. I'm a Chiefs fan. So I wrote a book in 2002, and if any of you are interested, if you just Google my name and put in free publicity, I wrote this book in 2002. I ran out of books, so if anybody wants a free copy, I'll send you like an ebook, or I'll send it to Craig and he can.
Yeah, if you could send it to me, the ebook, then I'll just send it to my mastermind. Thank you so much. Look, he's giving out gifts already. Holy crap!
Hey, I don't throw out free T-shirts like you do.
That's true. Not yet.
So I wrote this book, and my TV station, Channel 4, the Fox station here in Dallas, said to me, "Okay, how do you plan to market your book?" I said, "Well, I figure I'll go around, give some speeches." And they said, "All right, go ahead and give speeches, but just know you're not allowed to accept a speaker's fee." And that's important because they launched an entrepreneur into the world. I said, "Okay, wait a minute, I can't accept speakers' fees?" And they said, no, we don't want you to be in anybody's debt. Like we wouldn't want you to take a big check from Exxon and the next day Greenpeace is protesting Exxon and we have to worry about you. So just speak for free to promote your book. Well, they unleashed an entrepreneur because I'm a hustler from way back, grew up in Motown, Detroit, and I know how to hustle. And so I started this blistering pace of 300 speeches a year in addition to my TV job. Breakfast speech, lunch speech, go to work at Fox 4. Breakfast speech, lunch speech, go to work at Fox 4. I ended up selling 70,000 copies of a $10 book from the back of the room.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very, very impressive. And I did it the hard way, one speech at a time. And so my side hustle was, I was making as much money on my side hustle as I was in TV news. And it got very easy to make the decision to leave TV news because I realized that, gosh, TV news is keeping me from being all I can be. And I had reached the ripe old age of 45. I wasn't getting any younger. I was covering murders and fires every night. And so I felt like a little piece of my soul was being eroded every single day. I wasn't doing anything meaningful. It was just, it's called, if it bleeds, it leads, right? So I was that guy doing the TV reports. So I asked my wife's permission to quit. It's for those who are married. It's always wise to ask your better half if you can quit. And so I quit. And I started this company in my home in 2008. Laptop, cell phone, calling myself a PR firm. Year 1, I had 10 clients paying me. I'll be completely transparent, as Craig always says. I had 10 clients paying me $3,000 a month to get them on the news.
Wow.
Second year, I had 20 clients paying me $3,000 a month to get them on the news. So I'm there in my boxer shorts, just writing emails to I'm sorry for that visual, guys.
Oh, it's good.
Making 60 grand a month in my boxers, and then I had to start hiring people, and now I wake up and I've got a whole team. In fact, let me just we'll be interactive here.
Oh, I love it.
I'm in one of our studios, right? So this is one of our 10 studios in this building. And then when you come in here, I call this my newsroom. So these are all former TV and radio people. So this is Chris. Chris is employee number 1. Say hi to Craig and his group.
Hi, Craig.
Yeah.
Hi,
So
Chris.
Chris started with me at like the second year I was in business. And this is Robin. Robin comes from the CBS station in Waco, and before that, WBAP and KLIF here in Dallas.
Hi,
Josh
Rob.
comes from iHeart, 13 years at iHeart. Ashley
I
comes
know
from
Josh.
NBC in Tampa, and Sarah comes from the CW here in Dallas. And so this is my little newsroom, and we've got, and my son works for me. How cool is that? His name is Dallas.
Dallas.
Yes.
I met Dallas.
You you need to meet his sister Nacogdoches. No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that to her. Her name is Sarah, and so to build something special with your kids is just a joy. And people ask me, your happiness on a scale of 1 to 10, and I always say 12. I mean, I can't even imagine what would make me happier. I get to work with my family. I get to choose my clients. There's a meeting pearl for everybody on this call. You know, you can take on that one toxic client that will just keep you up at night and just sap your energy and make you no longer want to work in your own business. So it's that wise old saying, not everybody with a check is a client. And so I've become very selective on who we partner with in my company. And I like to say that my biggest job here at Real News PR is I'm the gatekeeper to the Garden of Eden. I get to welcome in the clients, and I get to welcome in the employees. And I choose to own the company and not run the company. So Josh, who you saw, and my daughter, who's 32, is my vice president. They get to run the company, the day-to-day stuff. I get to give tours, interview people, basically shake hands, kiss babies. I have the best life in the world.
And he does that very, very well. Like I said, he knows everybody. It's amazing, your network. It is just, you've done it right. You know, instead of working on your business, in your business, you're working on your business, you know, all that stuff. And you've delegated greatly. And you have an amazing team. I signed up to do a podcast. I think I'm going to start it soon. I sent the form in. So I'm going to start mine very soon. Hopefully before my seminar, I get a couple of shows out before the event. But he didn't show, that was the newsroom. But he, like he said, I think what did you say, 10 podcast studios?
10 podcast studios under one roof here at Lincoln Center, which is LBJ and the Tollway for those who are familiar with the Dallas area. And then we have one studio about 20 miles north of here, up by Nebraska Furniture Mart in the Colony. And then we have a studio in downtown Fort Worth. And we've got expansion plans for Austin, because we think that they need one of these operations there.
Yeah.
But I'm anxious. I mean, Craig, this is your show.
So
here's your group.
But I want to, so that's his Real News. That's how he got started. But talk about the rundown that you do every single day. Like, I think 365 days a year. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, because you get the rundown every
Yes.
day, don't you? Can you share your screen and
I can.
show it to people?
Yeah.
So this is a little labor of love. It takes me about 3 hours to do. I try to do a little bit of work the night before, and then I wake up at 7. This morning I had to wake up at 4 because Craig and I had an early morning networking meeting. But it's basically a tip sheet for journalists from coast to coast, from the smallest newspaper or radio station in the country all the way up to the New York Times and Good Morning America.
So here, I just want to show everyone in my emails, these are all the emails and stuff. Real News has its own folder now because I saved these rundowns. So here's a rundown right here. Jeff, I'll let you explain it.
So on the right-hand side is kind of fun stuff, because I'm basically spamming journalists, and they're not opting out. So on the right-hand side, Laura works for me. I'm saying to the journalist, hey, if you need a story, here's Laura. She spent 28 years in news. She'd be happy to help you find your expert. If you scroll down beneath that, Craig, I'm fat. You're gonna have to show me how to tell a story. You're like John Madden. I'm impressed. This is
Yeah,
great.
right. All right. So that's that. Okay. And then we're going to scroll down.
So that's a TV moment of the day. Beneath that is celebrity birthdays. Beneath that, there we go.
TV moment.
But this is kind of fun stuff that journalists, if you listen to radio in the car, they're saying today in history and celebrity birthdays today. So I'm giving journalists something that they can use for their morning radio show or television show. So beneath that, we have on this day in history and random trivia and viral video. And so this is all just kind of, I call it crack cocaine for journalists. They get addicted to it. And, bubble bath day.
Wait, was there really such a thing as bubble bath day? Is that
there was a bubble bath day. And so I have these little, pieces of trivia in there and then a weird story of the day. So the stuff on the right-hand side is candy. So if you're a journalist in Toledo, Ohio, and you get this all of a sudden, you're like, I don't know how I got on this list, but this is actually cool. So on this,
because it gives them information about what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
That day. Great.
And I never miss a day. So this one is Saturday, a couple Saturdays ago, and I saw this story about price gouging. And so I said, okay, this is interesting. What can I do with this? So if you scroll down a little bit, Craig, I will show you how I give the journalist a resource that they can use. So price gouging and COVID tests. One of our clients, she does a podcast out of Houston, and we kind of marry her audio and video together and put some bells and whistles on it. Her name is Rania Moncarius, and she is the head of Crime Stoppers Houston. And kind of as a way of saying thanks to her for doing a show with us, I will often put her out to the media. And what it makes this work for the journalist is that they're seeing a picture of her. She is on Fox and Friends. So she's, good on television. And then we put her cell phone and her email address. For journalists, that's gold, because truly, and I'm a public relations firm, journalists hate PR firms. And here's why journalists hate PR firms. And I was a journalist for 25 years. PR firms will often write like a sales pitch, not a news story, but they'll write a sales pitch and they'll put let's suppose somebody was writing a press release for Craig about his Rock Your Life conference. They would, one, not give you access to Craig. You would have to call the PR firm. And then the PR firm would call Craig, and Craig would call the PR firm back, and then the PR firm would call the journalist. Well, all of that represents a big waste of time. And journalists do math. They say, well, hold on, I'm gonna have to call this PR firm to get a hold of Craig. The PR firm may or may not call me back. And then they're gonna call Craig, who may or may not call them back. This thing could take 5 hours. Let me just go to that professor of marketing at SMU that I've always used, because that guy always answers his cell phone. So by me kind of getting out of the way, it makes this daily email work insanely well. Let's scroll down to the next one, Craig, because I think this is nourishing to this mastermind group. If there's a meeting pearl here, it's think like a journalist. What do journalists care about? And so on this particular day, it's a Saturday, I thought it was interesting that the clothing industry still hasn't adapted. I mean, guys, for the most part, let's be honest, unless you're wearing some tight fitting jeans or some ill-fitting Italian shoes, for the most part, guys dress for comfort. But women, I mean, raise your hand if you wear shoes that look sexy, but they hurt. Okay, Craig raised his head. Yeah, he's got some pumps.
I got some pumps. Yeah.
You still have the platforms from back in the.
I did have platforms. I did.
Remember
that?
Yeah. Okay, so if you scroll down, this story, I hooked it into a client who happens to be kind of a beauty and fashion expert, and I'm posing the question, why is it that the fashion industry hasn't made comfortable clothing for women that also looks good? And then the final story is, I found this interesting. This was a study in Europe where they were testing masks and basically found that masks, really made no difference, I'm not vouching for this study. I'm just saying they set out to prove that masks were effective. And instead of finding that it was effective, it was inconclusive. And so I grabbed the story from the New York Post, and then you can see at the bottom there, I've got a infectious disease expert that we work with. Okay, if you do this every single day for 13 years, not missing a single day, Christmas Day, New Year's Day for 13 years, it becomes a thing in journalism. And journalists trust me. And so I run into people all the time that will work their way up to Dallas, and I'll introduce them. I'll introduce myself to them, and they'll say, "CRILLEY, you don't have to introduce me to you. I mean, I've been reading you for years. I was reading you when I was in Tyler, Texas. I was reading you again when I got to Austin. I'm thrilled that I'm in Dallas now, and I actually am in the backyard of a guy that I've been reading every day." So you can see, I mean, Craig is scrolling down. These are all daily emails. And there's been a few where I put Craig out there and he's gotten some interviews.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find where it comes up with the no, that's not it. Where
do you remember
like,
any of the stations you were on? Like
oh yeah. So Gail, this I learned of your expertise on bosses from Jeff CRILLEY's media newsletter. Jeff positioned me as an expert on bosses, because it was called Horrible Bosses. And she asked, was Axl a good boss or a bad boss? All the stories you might tell. And so I set that up with her. Laura Martin, I don't know who she is, but she's from New Orleans. And she grabbed the story from Jeff. I can't get the one. Well, anyway, you sent me on one of these millions of emails.
Yeah. Did you ever do a Fox tour where you do like 10 back to back to back?
Yeah, here. Yeah. So this was a tour that he said, I've done two. So 7:05 Eastern time. I think, is it always 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., Jeff, Eastern time?
Yeah. 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central. So it's an early wake up call, but you know, you can see he did Wilmington, Grand Rapids, Birmingham, Lansing, Savannah, Miami, Detroit. That's a big radio station that I grew up listening to, and Idaho Falls.
Yeah, and they added. That's weird. Does my voice sound weird? Oh, I'm on an echo. Okay. Anyway, they added a bunch to this one. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think they added 3. I think I did 11 that day.
Wow.
So, and it's just in a different city. You're just promoting. They always ask, where can someone find you? So you're promoting your website. They always talked about my book, because Jeff put it out there that he just released the book, 1001 Ways to Rock Your Life. So anyone that was in that book, we just got free press all over the country as well. So it's just an unbelievable thing that he does for his clients. This is not, now I will share this. I do not promote, as you all know, if you've been in my mastermind a while, PR firms. I usually do not promote them because they charge you $5,000 to $10,000 a month to try to get you on something. I mean, is that pretty typical, Jeff, right?
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons that I started my firm is I really don't like PR firms. I am one now, but I didn't like PR firms when I was a news guy. And so I started the company with 2 promises. The first promise is to the journalist, not to the client. The first promise is to the journalist. We will not pitch you BS. That's one of the reasons why I named my company Real News Public Relations. And then fake news became a thing and people think I'm a genius. But I came up with Real News Public Relations 13 years ago.
That's funny.
And so the first promise is to the journalist. I won't pitch you BS. I didn't like it when it was pitched to me. And so to keep that promise to the journalist, I actually have to tell the client the truth. And one of the things that happens in public relations is the client will come up with a bad idea. And instead of the PR firm saying, I don't know if the media would like that, the PR firm says, great idea, Craig. We'll write a press release. And then they write this meaningless press release. And sometimes it can take a week to write the press release and go to legal and come back. And then they blast it out to 10,000 news organizations and nothing ever happens because journalists don't even read press releases anymore. And I can
and we use, I teach people to use, for just one reason, PR Web. right? It's $289.
Yep.
The reason I do that all the time, is for $289, I'm going out to 10,000 to 40,000 websites. By accident, someone might see me. It's just an extra way. What do you think about that little
I
thing?
agree. I agree with that because it's very affordable, and what it does is it launches you to the web, and that's what you need it for. So if somebody were Googling Craig for the first time, they're going to find his website, obviously, probably some of his mastermind and conferences, and then they're going to find this press release that he wrote 2 years ago, because it's just kind of hanging around
Yeah.
because it was launched to the web. So when clients come to us and say, could you write us a press release? I say to them, okay, what's the purpose of the press release? And they say, to get on the news. And I say to them, well, we don't actually need a press release to get on the news. I'll just put you in my daily e-blast. So for those of you on the call who are thinking about writing a press release, or you currently write press releases, the reason you write a press release is to launch it to the web, for SEO reasons and for when people Google you. But journalists don't need press releases. They don't read press releases. Sometimes all they need is a who, what, where, when, why, and you probably have that on your website.
Right.
Okay, so back to my story. So the first promise is to the journalist, we won't pitch you BS. And then the second promise is to the client, and I'm clear on this. I said to myself in year one, because I'm a pleaser. My father's a minister. My love language is words of affirmation. I just want people to tell me how wonderful I am every month. So the promise to the client is, I will not take you on if I cannot clearly see success. Because if it's going to end in you criticizing me, I'll regret ever having cashed that check. And so now when people come to me and say, hey, Jeff, could you help me promote this widget? I'll look at it and say, okay, well, if you'll allow me to make you an expert on widgets, or an expert on bosses, or an expert on workplace culture, or something other than the actual widget, I will work with you. A case in point. So if any of you are interested, I do a daily TV show called The Jeff CRILLEY Show from one of our studios here. I interviewed a young lady who heads up a
Recording in progress.
She represents a fertility company, and the company is all built around a widget. The widget is basically, I'm going to call it a Yeti cup for sperm. So I'm sorry to take this call in this direction, but I found out on my TV show that 40% of the infertility problems in America are related to the man, not the woman. And we're still in this kind of prehistoric thing where a couple having fertility issues, the man will go to some sterile clinic and then be sent into a bathroom. And then they're using a plastic cup or a plastic jar similar to a urine sample. And the woman who represents this product said that, as soon as the male gives his sample, it's already degrading. So the chances of getting pregnant are instantly decreased because you're using this thing. This Yeti product allows you to go in the comfort of your home, give a sample, and then it's stored at the right temperature for 48 hours for the lab to do something with it. Okay, the reason I'm telling you this long-winded story is after she was on my show, we visited and I showed her my rundown. I showed her what we did. And I said, I think we could have wild success with you, but not promoting the product, making you an expert on fertility.
Yeah.
She said, really? Am I an expert on fertility? I said, you're running the company. You don't have to be a doctor. There doesn't have to be an MD behind your name. You run a fertility company. And oh, by the way, you happen to have this product for men, which is a game changer when it comes to fertility issues. So she got it. And she was telling me, Craig, that they're currently using a very expensive PR firm. And this PR firm has gotten them something like 6 placements in the last year.
Wow.
And when I showed her a Fox radio tour and she says, oh my God, like you get more before 10 in the morning than my PR firm got in an entire year.
Right.
So anyway, I'm telling you that story because that's how my mind works. Is she wanted to promote the product. I said, nope, you'll get publicity, but we have to put the spotlight on the expertise. So everybody on this mastermind call, your knowledge of a subject is what's interesting to the media. The fact that you happen to sell a good product or service is just nice, but it's not what gets the reporter excited.
It's okay. If you all didn't just grasp what he just said and say to yourselves, holy crap, what a different spin on what we all, including me, thought we needed to do. Like I would always say, I want to sell my, like Jeff, I want to sell tickets to my boot camp, to my event. Can we do a press release on that and get me things? And that would never work. That's never going to work. But he positioned me as an expert on a couple of different things that sets me up as an expert. And oh, by the way, if you ever want to meet him, he does these seminars.
Right.
And okay, you all remember that Shreddies, the Shreddies box? I always talk about one little tweak. Here is your tweak. That's the tweak. It's not about selling the actual product or service that we sell. How do you position yourself as an expert in the field? And oh, by the way, I do that. And that's coming from a man that has been doing PR for a long time and knows everybody in Dallas, Texas, and beyond probably. Jeff, that is brilliant. Love that.
Can I give them a couple more tips?
We would love that.
One, you have to consume media in order to get on the media. And that doesn't mean you have to watch the 6 o'clock news. That's really kind of like something your dad or grandfather did, right? 24 hours a day, you can go on their website and you can see what they're talking about. So for everybody on this call, start to think, what am I an expert in? And what kinds of stories would I want to weigh in on? And so what I'm doing at 5 in the morning is sifting through headlines, trying to find something for my expert. So if Craig and I, if I wanted to get Craig on the news, 4 or 5 times a week, I would wake up every morning and I would put into Google News. So when you Google something, it gives you choices: image, videos, news. At the top of the Google bar, it says Google News. So if I put into Google News marketing, it's going to sift through every headline, recent headlines first, that has to do with marketing. And sometimes I'll add a word: marketing blunder, marketing flub, controversial marketing. And when you add words like that, why did I do that? One, the media delights when a company misfires. So one of the storylines that has come out recently, if you guys are curious about it, put into Google woke marketing. And so we just came off of MLK Day, and there's backlash against corporate America that is choosing to be woke for profit reasons. Some of you guys probably remember Kendall Jenner, one of the Jenner kids, famously during a Super Bowl ad, she's seeing a Black Lives Matter rally, and there's cops are here and the protesters are here, and she emerges from the crowd with a can of Pepsi. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Horrible. Yeah, Pepsi had to bring the ad down. There was a big backlash, and that was a Super Bowl ad. So that meant they spent like $4 million per 30 seconds just to end up, having a boneheaded move that got them blasted by everybody. If you remember the ad, it's only because you remember it for the wrong reasons. But I'm sharing that with you guys on the call because that's how my mind is working. How would I get Craig to weigh in on something that the media cares about? So if I wanted to get Craig on the air on MLK Day, I probably could have put him out there on woke marketing. There's something called woke washing. If you Google that term, woke washing is also this kind of like pandering to we're sensitive, we're diverse, we're inclusive, but they're doing it in such a heavy-handed way that it doesn't really represent their brand. But do you see what I'm doing right now? I'm like
so what Jeff did for me, the first one he did for me, he said, "You're doing a radio tour tomorrow morning." I'm late. Great. He goes, "You're the expert on social media, and you're going to talk about why you think John Dorsey stepped down from Twitter." And the first thing that went through my head is, what the F is he talking about? I don't know Jeff Dorsey and Twitter or why he's going on, but you know what? Say yes and figure it out. He positioned me because I talk about social media. And all I had to do was just go online and Google John Dorsey, Twitter, reasons. And I came up with a couple of tweaks on what they were writing about in the news. You know, he wanted to get into crypto. And then, you know, I brought up Jeff, this was so clever. I was so happy I thought of this. And I said, and I don't know if this is true, but I just said, well, you know, he did resign once before in 2009. He stepped down and then he came back. So maybe he's doing what Elton John does or Cher does, and he's having his second step down and he's going to come back again later. Well, everyone that I had the call with, well, that's such a rock star thing to say because I toured with rock fans. And it was just very clever. They thought how I tied that John Dorsey thing into still some sort of music thing. So Jeff, what I really want to talk about though is this. I'm a very experienced speaker. I speak a lot and I do Zoom a lot and podcasts a lot. For the person that comes to you and says, I would love for you to do my PR, get me on some of these radio tours, and you throw something like that you threw at me. Wait, I'm not a Twitter expert, John Dorsey. What advice do you give these people, A, for that?
Right.
Or B, not knowing the specific questions that they're going to ask you,
Yes.
and how are you not going to be nervous about flubbing up, messing up, and not being a good radio tour person where you will never send me out again? Give us some idea how we can overcome those fears and or those realities.
So what we give media coaching to everybody who comes in. One of the first things we do is we sit down and do an hour-long media training, and we remind our clients that they are in control of the interview, not the host. Let me repeat that. They are in control of the interview, not the host. The hosts on the radio shows that Craig was on, they're sleep deprived. They woke up, they glanced at the headline. They've done no research. So Craig was clearly going to be in the driver's seat. But let's suppose they asked a question that Craig couldn't handle. We teach our clients to do a little pivot. And the pivot is, that's a great question. And I don't know the answer to that. But here's what I do know.
Great.
And then you pivot back to your sweet spot. Or great question, that reminds me of a point I wanted to make. Or great question, but I think the most important thing your listeners need to know is,
Right.
You see how I just like hijacked it and
Yeah, and what job in our United States is really good at that?
politicians.
Politicians, exactly. They never answer the question.
They never answer the question. You've seen this in those debates. They start asking about abortion, and then 30 seconds later, we're talking about school reform. And you're like, wait a minute, how did we get from abortion to school reform?
Right. Okay, so you have a training. So if someone were to sign up for your PR monthly thing, you give them a training. Is that on Zoom or is that in person, or can it be both or one of the other?
We like it in person. We're doing a lot on Zoom now just because of COVID, and people prefer to be, and especially those clients who are outside of the state of Texas. But we put you through the paces. And what I will say is that typically we don't throw you to the wolves on a story that you would never have.
Right.
With Craig was kind of doing me a favor because Fox Radio, I'm talking to them like 4 or 5 times a day. We pitch, liberal stations, conservative stations, middle of the road stations. But Fox is one of my relationships where I'm talking to them 4 or 5 times a day. And Dorsey stepped down, and so they had to add a tour the next day. And they said, hey, could we get somebody to speak about Dorsey stepping down? And I remember, I have been kind of following it. He leads 2 companies. I think, is it PayPal and
It's Square
and Twitter. And he was getting a lot of flack in the last couple of years for Twitter's policy on free speech. Are they limiting conservative voices? And so there was some baggage attached to him. And so I thought to myself, okay, from a marketing perspective, clearly Craig could talk about, is this a chance for Twitter to kind of rebrand itself with a new CEO? And so I just called up Craig and said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? And I think he says, what do you want me to be doing? I said, Good answer. so the media is a mile wide and an inch deep. Typically, they're not going to ask you how the watch is made. They just want to know what time it is.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying, and Jeff answered that perfectly, but even if you're stressed, even with the media training, just know, like he said, you are in the driver's seat. You can pivot anything, but just know they don't really go deep. They don't ask you the really, really hard questions. So, because I was thinking and I do interviews all the time, but I was thinking, yeah, this is radio. This could be different. And it wasn't. It was just like any other interview I've done on Zoom. So don't be intimidated by that. If you work with Jeff, man, you are getting an opportunity to really expand your business, yourself, your footprint, all over the United States. I mean, it's amazing it's just like all these people. Now, here's the other thing. Did I sell any, first of all, I don't know specifically the answer to this. Did I sell any tickets to my event because of those radio tours that I did? I'm not sure, but maybe not. But it doesn't matter. Someone in Detroit, if I ever do it again, which I will, is going to be like, wait, that was the guy that talked about Dorsey last time, because they're all in the morning drives. It's just another billboard that was up there for a couple of minutes. You get 6 minutes, 7 minutes, sometimes 10. And the morning drives, it's the same people every day. So if you do it once, nothing might happen, just like on PR Web. If you do it twice, maybe, but you keep doing this and you become the go-to person that Jeff will hook you up with all these stations. I mean, what better press can you get? You can't.
Absolutely. Hey, can I talk for a couple minutes on podcasting and why podcasting might be?
That was my next thing, because that's the main thing that I'm doing, God willing.
So
no, I am, because I just paid for it.
Will you share your screen and then just go to YouTube and put in Real News Communications Network Tour?
Okay.
So Craig will pull this up. So essentially, we've done something that has never been done before in podcasting. We looked at podcasting and we said, okay, podcasting is cool and a lot of people are doing it, but why is everybody at home with a ring light? It seems like the people who do shows just want to be the hosts. They don't want to be the tech. They don't want to edit and upload and tag. And sometimes that can take hours. And you're supposed to be the star, right?
Oh, Jeff, what was it? Real News what?
Communications Network Tour.
Okay, go ahead. Keep talking.
Okay, so we spent $700,000 on TV studios in the last 2 years, and we're about to spend another $700,000 in the next 4 months. Why? Because this division is in hyper growth. We grew from 5 shows 2 years ago to now 92 unique shows. Those are not episodes. Those are 92 clients like Craig who are coming to us for done for you podcasting. So there we go, right there.
Which one? This one?
Yep, that's it. So and you can mute it, Craig. The sound is.
Oh shoot! Hold on.
The sound's not. But you'll see, I mean, these studios are as nice as anything in commercial television in Dallas-Fort Worth. And the studios we're about to build, as we move upstairs in this building, will rival ESPN. So my goal now is to have studios that are prettier than New York. This is a big anchor desk, big acrylic anchor desk. When you sit behind it, you feel powerful. You feel like Ted Koppel. This studio is called Oprah. You can fit 50 people in the audience. When 50 people are clapping, it looks like 500 people clapping. You'll see Ted Nugent here in a second. Ted and his wife are clients. There's Ted on the left, and his wife Shemaine does a show with us. And this one is HGTV. I call it Chip and Joanna or Martha Stewart. It's a little homey. It's a little bit more intimate. But anyway, when clients come to us, we're saying to them, what's the look and feel of the show? Is it glamorous like Oprah? Is it formal like the newsroom? Is it informal? And now people come in off the street and do a show, and we're charging $500 per show turnkey product, which many people, their time is worth more than that. You know, if they're spending 3 hours editing and uploading and tagging and doing stuff like that, your time is worth more than that. Anyway, we do podcasting for people who fly into Dallas, and we can also do completely remote podcasting where nobody's in Dallas. We're just marrying your feed up with your guest's feed, and then we're adding the bells and whistles. So I call it the CNN 2-box or the Fox News 2-box, where you have two people talking, and then you have animation around them. So it gives you the, you know, kind of like the bells and whistles of TV news. What I'd like to do is take questions.
Yeah,
Does
that would be great.
anybody on the chat have a question?
Oh, if they don't have any questions, I'll start slapping people. I'm kidding. Yeah, anyone raise your hand or just unmute yourself and just start talking. Anybody. Okay, there you have it. All right, there you go. I think what we did though was we covered a lot of stuff.
Hold on, Jenny's got a question.
Oh, Jenny Joy.
Hi, Jeff. This is so awesome. Thanks for bringing him on, Craig. Yeah, I was just curious. So you were talking about podcasting, but then you have all the videos. So are these going up on vlogs, and then you're also using them into a podcast?
It's a great question. So we looked at podcasting. We're like, okay, the audio piece and the video piece costs the same. It costs the same amount for us to produce it. So let's just produce it for YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So those are all video podcasts. And then we'll peel the video away, send it to iHeart, iTunes, and half a dozen other places where you can hear podcasting. And so we're on all the platforms, and we're actually seeing now, depending on, you know, what your strategy is, you can get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people watching your show. In fact, there was a show that we did right in this studio 4 months ago, and I'm a big transparency guy. I'll tell you the story. So it's a Friday, and I have a date with my wife at 5 o'clock. And so one of my clients calls me up, and he's a doctor, and he has a buddy, Dr. Peter McCullough, who's a controversial COVID doctor here in town. And he says, hey, Dr. Peter McCullough and I would like to come into your studios. Would you interview us this afternoon? I said, sure, but don't make it too late, because I got a hot date with my wife at 5 o'clock. I got to be at Highland Park Village at 5 o'clock. He says, okay, so if we come in about 3, would that be okay? I said, perfect. He shows up at 4:30. Oh, I said, Doc, you're killing me, man. I love you, but I love my wife more. I'm not going to be in the doghouse for you. And he says, but we're all dressed up, no place to go. I said, look, you're a doctor. You're talking about COVID. You're going to ask better questions of him than I would. Use the studio. Just do your thing. And so if I can't find the video for you right now, I'll find it and I'll send it to you, Craig, and you can
okay.
But he begins the show saying, hey, Jeff, I'm sitting in for Jeff CRILLEY today. And, you know, I mean, that's how he begins it. Okay, so the next morning, I've forgotten about this. I go on my date with my wife. Next morning, Chris from my team, who you met earlier in this call, sends me a screenshot of our YouTube account. And it says $2,000. I was like, where did we get this? And he says, that video went viral last night. Dr. Johnson's video went viral. I said, no kidding. On Sunday, $4,000. Oh my God, what is happening with this thing? This show was controversial enough that it took us past the 10,000 subscriber threshold, and that's when YouTube starts paying you money. To date, swear to God, YouTube has paid me $19,000 for this show. The client paid me $500. YouTube paid me $19,000, and we wanted to see if we could strike lightning twice, right? So I invited him back to do it again with Dr. Peter McCullough. This one didn't have 700,000 views like the first one did, but it had 170,000 views, which was enough to make me about $3,000. So after I saw it happen twice, I said to Josh, my head of operations, I said, give the man a show. We're making more money off of YouTube than we could possibly make off of him giving us a $500 check. Give the man a show. So now, anytime he wants to come in and interview his buddy Peter McCullough, it's a free show.
So the moral of the story is talk about something really controversial.
Really controversial.
And probably COVID related.
I hope that answered your question. Did it, Jenny?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions also.
All right, Jacques.
Yeah, sorry I've been absent for so long, but I have been so super busy. But it's always great seeing you again, Craig.
You too, buddy.
And Allison always fills me in anyway, so. But so Jeff, a couple things. One thing you said, how many views does it take before you start making money from YouTube?
And I just learned this recently. I learned this 4 months ago. I believe it's right around 10,000 subscribers.
10,000. Yeah.
Subscribers.
Oh, 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look at that because Craig was one who once taught me a long time ago how to get all my videos to follow one another by using a made-up word, but then YouTube came and slammed us both and I don't know how. So at this point, I don't know how, if there's a new way, if you discovered a new way to.
I have not discovered a new way. Jeff, I used to tell people, you know, when you put a video out on YouTube and all the related videos on the side would send them to another area that had something to do with that video. I had a way back then, because the algorithms were lined up, I would put a fake word in all my video tags. Mine was GRAIRSUP, GRAIR. SUP, it stands for Guns N' Roses Air Supply, GRAIRSUP. So what happened was someone would watch my video and all the related videos on the side would be more of my videos, because the only thing common with that one is the word GRAIRSUP, and so that grabs this a similar tag. So Jack is actually asking, and I don't know the answer to that question, do you know of anything that you guys know of that is able to help us get more subscribers faster, something like that?
What we coach people to do, and let me deal with Facebook first. So Facebook is the platform we love to advertise on. You know, Facebook's a data company. They're not really a social media company. They know how you voted. They know who your friends are. So you can put a small ad budget, and by small ad budget, I mean $20. $20 has allowed us to take shows from 11 views to 2,000 views. And they're the right views. It's not broadcasting, it's narrowcasting. And so my son, who waved at you earlier in the show, he's a social media guru, and he knows how to laser target your fans. So that's Facebook advertising. On YouTube, I would say, if you really wanted to build a group fast, make it a celebrity-driven show. So your guests should be celebrities with much larger audiences than you have. So essentially, you're saying to the guests before they come on, "Hey, do me a favor. Would you do me the honor of sharing this show with your fans?" And most of them will make that agreement with you up front, just as a courtesy. If Craig is interviewing,
Dean Cain.
Yeah, exactly. And he makes that agreement. If he goes out and shares Craig's show with his audience, there's a certain number of Dean Cain's fans who are going to say, "Hey, this Craig Rock Your Life thing this is a cool show. I like this. Like, subscribe, share." So that would be a kind of an old school way to build
Yeah.
it.
What
Jack,
about,
another question?
oh, but on the same question, when people view my video, like all these other videos come up next for them to view, how can I zero in on where more of my videos come up next for viewing?
That was that trick back then that doesn't work. That I don't know. He's asking, how do you get all the related videos? I don't know. I think they've figured us out. Don't
Yeah.
know.
It could be. I mean, all these social media companies, they lay awake at night figuring out how people are tricking them. So Google is the best one. If you put into Google "best steakhouse in Dallas" and up pops Denny's, you're mad, but not nearly as mad as Google is. And they're going to say, "Okay, how did Denny's trick us?" And then overnight, they change an algorithm, and anybody who is doing the trick that Denny's pulled is now punished instead of rewarded for the very same thing. And I'm assuming that YouTube does it as well.
And Jack, I can't vouch for this because I haven't really done a ton of videos lately at all. I haven't done any videos in the last couple of years. I bet you, while it's not a perfect scenario, still doing that fake word might, as long as your tags are consistent. Like what I do is I copy and paste my tags. It's marketing, seminars, authors, speakers, all those tags, and then GRAIRSUP is at the end. So I copy and paste that every time I put a video up on YouTube. I haven't done it in a while, but I gotta believe that the reason the related videos are there is because they have similar tags to what the main video is. So just be consistent in the tags, and I think It's got to be at least a couple of them spread out in there.
And that's in the description part.
It's in the tags. Well,
The
okay.
tag.
So, Jack, yes. What I do is my descriptions are all the same, except for the first paragraph. So the first paragraph is specific on that video. And then the rest is my bio mentioning Guns N' Roses, Air Supply. My favorite songs of Guns N' Roses are Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine. Those are all, good words that are Googled. Air Supply, Lost in Love, All Out of Love. I put that in there. That's in the description. But I'm talking about the tags, copy and pasting all the tags as well.
Okay, copy and paste.
It's copy and paste. Exactly.
Blur.
Now, there are other ways, and I forget how to do this because I haven't done it in a little while. I'd have to look back on some notes. Now, here's a big trick. You go to videos, and I know you can still do this. You go to videos that have a lot of subscribers or a lot of views, like Jeff's doctor videos. If you're in the health and wellness or the COVID world or whatever, you can go into that video and there's a way to get the back page and copy and paste their tags and put them under your tags. So you're basically hijacking their descriptions and tags. Now I forget how to do that and I'd have to look at my notes, but there's a way to go in the HTML code of every single video put on YouTube and you can find that information.
Wow.
Jack, email me. I'll try to remember to do that. I'm going to try to find that again.
All right, I'm gonna put email.
Email Craig the YouTube trick.
Yeah.
Anything else for Jeff?
Yeah, wait, one more question though. I'm sorry, it's a little bit different, but since I have a video studio that also I use as a recording studio, so I'm getting a lot of use out of it. But I'm getting ready to do a live TV show. I told Craig last year, I'm finally starting to move past a lot of the other stuff to get it done. But what equipment are you using for, Jeff, for broadcasting?
So I'll show you. I'm not the technical guy. I don't even know how to run my own equipment. But like these cameras, these are little Sony, like $350 cameras. Can you see those?
Yep.
The lights are not expensive. These lights, that's probably a $250 light. The expensive part was the screen, but yeah, the technology, these mics are probably what, Craig,
Audio Technica, probably 200 to 400, probably, right, Jack?
I don't know. I've got all that stuff. Basically, what I need is like, I've got a switcher, but I'm wondering what kind you're using. And I'm just, because you're a much bigger outfit than I am, I'm just seeing, needed some.
I can show you my board, but I don't know what it does.
Which is awesome. But that's why he has the greatest team. They all know that stuff. And Jeff is like the guy that goes out into the community and everyone loves him. And then they come do shows. They have 92 shows. Okay, here's some stuff.
Yeah, the X32 mixer from Behringer. Is that
that's what I was going to say.
That's for audio. That's your audio, yeah.
X32, X33, whatever it takes.
That's awesome.
I was just wondering what you're using for like the video switcher.
I could get a tech on this call if you want.
Don't worry about it. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm sure people find it interesting to see what you're using.
Yeah, yeah.
I still don't want to take up too much of your time, so that's fine. I really appreciate it.
I mean, they have 10 studios with like probably 10 different types of boards, switchers. I mean, each one probably is not the same. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But the great thing about their studio is, on another note, is I love the background and having the cars on the freeway driving. It's like that New York, the Today Show where the people are walking behind. I just love that feel. It just makes it, it makes it real. It makes it, I guess, current. It makes it feel like it's professional because we all have seen the Today Show backgrounds, And I think I know that's what Jeff is going for. And he's going to make it like a CNN.
And if any of you are coming to Dallas for Craig's conference, I mean,
they all are. They don't know it yet, but they all are.
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Well, please build in some time to come over and say hi. We feed everybody at lunchtime. Let me see if catering arrived. So
No, okay, get this. If you work for his company, they get lunch delivered every day. The employees, they get lunch.
okay, look
You
at-
big gigantic buffet.
all right, hey guys, what's for lunch?
Hi. Chicken, barbecue beans, and cauliflower rice.
All right.
Wow.
That sounds delicious.
And we have been known to serve an adult beverage or two for those who are so inclined.
Yeah, you should see Jeff's office.
Craig is a tequila guy.
Yeah.
So-
Jeff and I are tequila buddies.
Yes, so they and now everybody knows what to get me for my birthday. It's always something for the bar. Weird. Oh, hey, I want you guys to meet Kaylee Dion. Kaylee Dion is like a big celebrity here in town.
Hi, Kaylee.
Until about 2 months ago, well, less than that, a month ago.
It was about a month ago, exactly.
She was one of the most popular meteorologists in town, and she came into my office maybe a year ago, and I said, Kaylee, if you ever get tired of TV news, she says, I'm already tired of TV. So she comes over, and she's got a full service social media company now. And,
Oh,
so
awesome.
if anybody needs help with social media, this is the great Kaylee Dion.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
know.
And she also has been known to like an adult beverage. So
I do.
See, that's his office. Did you see that? Everyone see that card?
Gold, seriously.
So when I go to Jeff's office, I don't even sit down. We go right to the bar.
we do, don't we?
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. Well, I know we're coming up on the top of the hour. So seriously, when you guys are in Dallas, I'll be speaking at Craig's conference, and if you guys ever want a tour, let me know.
Hey, if you guys are coming, it's Thursday night, Friday and Saturday. Thursday day, Jeff, can I give people your email address?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me just put it in the chat. It's Jeff at Jeff CRILLEY, right?
Yep.
Right.
Jeff CRILLEY at realnewspr.com.
Oh, hold on. Oh, let me do that one. Jeff CRILLEY at realnews.com. All right, so
realnewspr.com.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, let's do a mastermind tour.
I can't during Thursday because I'm getting ready. But if
Right.
anyone, you gotta see this studio. Jeff CRILLEY at realnewspr.com. Okay, it's in the chat. He does it. I don't know if you're gonna do this if he gives the tour, but he does this really fun thing because they're building a Mecca upstairs. But right now it'll be done in March, right?
Yep.
Okay, so right now walking to his office is kind of boring gray walls. So he's like, well, this is the boring part, but then he puts on 2001: A Space Odyssey music,
2001: Space
right?
Odyssey.
And then he puts it on his phone, and then he opens the door at ta-da, and then you go into the office, and literally it's like we just came from these boring things to this.
Yeah,
and it's
Craig. People have said, okay, when I'm playing the theme song to 2001: Space Odyssey, they're saying, Jeff, aren't you overselling? Aren't you overselling a little bit? And then they sit on the Oprah set at the anchor desk, and they're like, no, you did not oversell.
Yeah, not oversell at all.
Like legit.
And so what Jeff is doing, here's the great part, and you'll learn more about this at my event. But even if you're not in Dallas, Jeff and I have come up with an idea. I'm not going to talk about it right now because we're not selling anything, but an idea where you could do a bunch of shows in like a couple of hours, a few hours. Just crank out a bunch of shows in a few hours, and then you don't have to fly out every single week or month. But you could just can a bunch of shows. It depends on how many hours you want. But we have a really special thing that he's doing for our people. So. You gotta go on this tour. Shanta, get your butt on that plane and come to the event. And on Thursday, look, I just traveled to Breckenridge, Colorado, Kansas City twice. I'm knocking on a lot of wood because I know, I'm lucky maybe, but I haven't gotten any COVID stuff. So let's stop living in fear in our lives. And I'm not saying that anyone is. I'm not saying, Shanta, that you are. I'm just saying, get your butt to the thing. You have a table and you get a tour. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It's so inspiring going to Jeff's office. It's literally a news mecca. It's like so cool. And you're building by March the real higher floor, even better view, right?
Absolutely. I'm so excited. And you promised to bring Axl.
Yeah, I can bring Slash way easier than Axl. Axl's not easy.
Okay. Listen, I love you all. I hope I'll see some of you in Dallas, and thank you. This has been an amazing.
You're awesome, Jeff. Thank you so much for coming on today. Very busy man, and we are blessed that you were here today. Thank you so much, Jeff.
All right. God
See you,
bless
buddy.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. So if anyone else has any, well, his things there, Jeff CRILLEY, I think I put it right. Where is it? Oh, Jeff CRILLEY at Real News PR. If you are coming to the seminar, which I'm sure you all are, because that would be silly not to. It's free for you guys, and it's going to be amazing. And you're meeting like Jeff. You're going to meet Todd. You're going to meet. I'm not going to name all names. A bunch of people that I have met in Texas. I just met Nina Vaca today. I told you. Everyone, Google her name. NINAVACA. She's not speaking at my seminar because it's too. I got it filled, but she talked about a lot of stuff today that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what we talk about in our seminar. So you'll see that she's like, she was worked with President Obama on an entrepreneur forum for a global entrepreneur forum. That's how high up she is. And she was talking about start local, then go global. Instead of, this is what I'm going to do at my seminar. Instead of doing 1-year goals, because I have a whole thing on goals in the beginning and mindset. She is a vehement opposer to doing 1-year goals because it sets you up for failure. Because you know how fast a year goes? It just goes so fast and you don't get to accomplish most of the things. Now, she has little things that she targets, but she's a decader, she calls herself. She has 10-year goals that if she finishes them in 3, 4, or 5 years, she celebrates. Because it might not take 10 years, but they're 10-year goals that take away the overwhelm, that take away the stress, that take away the fear of failure. You know, that, oh God, I didn't do that. Shoot, I mustn't be good at this. I'm going to give up. And that's why she never does 1-year goals. She does 10-year goals. Little things like that. I have a bunch of notes that I took on her today. Like fail fast. The faster you fail and you learn from it, the more successful you're going to be. Don't fail over time. Go for it. And if it didn't work, shoot, but learn from it. Like in a week, fail in a week and then do something different. She was so inspiring. Anyway, a lot of stuff that she talked about, I'll be sharing as well. Yeah, Tim, you're right down the block. You're coming here. Yes, if you want to take a tour of Jeff's facility, if you're coming Thursday night, set up a time Thursday day and go see the facility. I mean, it's, and then, yeah, Jack, you'll see all the equipment that he uses. It's right there for you to take pictures of, you know. These are great opportunities, people, great opportunities. I hope you jump on them. I will see you all next week. I apologize for yesterday. I'm going to Chambers a lot to sell tickets to my event because I'm trying to get a big Dallas audience. By the way, even Nina Vaca said today, Dallas, Texas has overtaken California and New York for entrepreneurism. It's the number one. Dallas, Texas is the number one city for entrepreneurs in the United States right now. Dallas, Texas. And that's why she is working with the mayor's office, and she's the something for entrepreneurs. They have they made up a seat for entrepreneurism in Dallas. It's so big. You're missing a big opportunity if you can't come in Dallas. You're going to meet amazing people that can help grow your business. There, enough said. See you all next week. Bye-bye.